Happy Sunday, everybody. I hope you're all doing well and find yourself in good spirits. Today, I have a story to tell about knowing your worth. I, let's just start with it. So, one day, a father pulls his son to the side and he says, Hijo, look, you graduated with honors. You got accepted into a good college. I'm really proud of you. And I knew this day would come, and I wanted to give you something that would help you get started in your life. And so he takes his son to the back of the yard where there's like a little garage, and the son knew there was a car in there and some tools, and dad would go in there and tinker. And they open the little barn doors. He pulls off a old dusty tarp, some rags, throws them to the side, and there's an Impala there. And the dad, some of his friends, they had lowriders, some had Resta mods, some even had hot rods. He always liked the getting his hands dirty with turning a wrench and wrenching and trying to make things better, faster. It wasn't just to look flashy. He actually liked the engineering in the cars. And so the son's like, "Oh wow, Dad!" And the car is primered. The windows are all dirty. The interior is, it's got some tears. It looks old, but the car is like, it don't have no rust. It's got old hubcaps. One's missing. The tires aren't white walls. Some of the rust, some of the chrome has a little pitting, or like little surface rust. There's some surface rust on the fender. And so it looks like it needs, some restoration. 20,000 and you got a beautiful car again. And so the dad says, but you know what? In giving you this car, I want to teach you a lesson. So first, I want you to take the car to the junkyard and see how much they'll buy it off you for. And he's like, Dad, I wouldn't sell it to them, and I'm gonna love this car. He goes, just take it to the junkyard and see how much they'll give you. So he says, he goes to the junkyard, and the junkyard says, well, it's worth about $800 in metal, $200 in glass. We'll give you $1,000. He's like, okay, thank you. Let me think about it. And he comes home and he tells his dad. And then he says, okay, now I want you to take it to that used car lot and see how much they'll give you for it. And so he takes it over there, and there's this guy there that, he just sells mostly newer used cars. And so he looks it up in the Kelly Blue Book, and he says, it's worth $5,000. I'll give you $5,000. And so the kid says, okay, thank you. And he comes back, and then the dad says, okay, go ask, some of my friends how much they give you. Take it to the car show, the lowrider car show. And the kid comes back all excited. Oh, Dad, they loved it. They said the going rate for these right now is 25, 30,000. That's cool, Dad. I don't want to sell it, but man, that's cool. They gave me 20, 30,000. Some of them said they would put hydraulics on it. Others would make it a hopper. Some would just make it a cruiser and restore it to original. That's who I would want to sell it to. I think one guy even offered me 35,000 for it, Dad. And the dad's like, that's great, son. Now I want you to go to one more place. And the son says, well, where would I go now? And he goes, go to Merkium Auctions that sells cars, and give them the VIN number, and then see how much they'll give you. And so he calls them and he talks to him, and he comes back and he tells his dad that the last one sold for $435,000. It was a 63 Impala Z11, which were limited production, mostly for like NASCAR drivers. They had a 409 in them, and I think over like 400 horsepower, which was maybe more, I'm not sure, but which was a lot for that time. So it was a super hot car, and it was very limited in production because it was for like race car drivers to buy, and so that's why it's worth so much. And and so the kid just comes back blown away, and his dad tells him, "Look, the lesson there is that depending where you go, you're gonna be valued differently, and if you're not valued according to what you are and knowing what you are, then you shouldn't be there." Um, and and then he gave him the car. And so, you know, the moral of the story is self-evident, and I would just add that I've had folks tell me, it's a little bit hurtful that you're so quick to cut people off. And I felt like you didn't really care about me if you would do that. And my response was always that, well, I didn't feel valued. So um, you can't play the victim. I ain't playing the victim. You just go where you're valued. Know your worth. Know what you are, who you are, and don't settle for anything less. And so that's the lesson. The original story I read in a like car magazine thing, and it was a Nissan, some other car for 100,000. But I thought using the '63 Impala that I can throw in um, some cultural context, because it's a beautiful car. It used to be like my favorite of all the Impalas. Um, Anyways, that said, I hope you have a wonderful Sunday, and I hope someone blessed you a domingo. Here's the cultural lesson part of this. Domingo in Spanish is a colloquialism for your allowance, your reward at the end of the week on Sunday for a good week prior. Parents would give it to their kids, grandparents would give it to their grandkids. Hey, come over here and get your domingo, and they would give you some coins or $1, and like you just came to expect your domingo every Sunday, and then you could buy candies or bread or whatever with it. That was part of the culture. And if you owned like a farm, you would give your workers their salary and then their domingo on top of that. You would always give them a bonus on Sunday, and it was, I'm sure, factored into what they were going to pay. And so the metaphor there is that I hope someone blessed you for a week well worked that you feel good about, and that someone acknowledged it. And if not, you acknowledge it and know your worth, and you know, don't settle for less. Have a good one.